Initiating moisture.
Welcome to the Moist Meter. Today we're taking a look at Upgrade. How wet is it? It's wet as fuck. These are the type of movies we need more of. Right now, all Hollywood is exclusively huge budget, blockbusting, nut-busting, ass-blasting, $100 million plus movies, and that's it. If you don't spend at least $100 million on your movie, it's going straight to VHS. It's direct to video because they don't give a fuck about it anymore. And it's a sad thing because movies like this are what make going to a movie theater so great. This movie had a less than $5 million budget, and it made a damn near masterpiece. There's obviously some flaws here, and we'll talk about those, but Upgrade is absolutely amazing, especially considering its budget, which you don't even really notice at all in the movie. And I know it's probably hard to believe for some of you, because in the current movie landscape, you hear less than $5 million, you're like, oh shit, this is going to look horrible. They probably use PS1 level CGI or puppets or something. How could it be so cheap and look good? But it does. It's fucking great. Sometimes a lower budget can lead to a more creative film, and in this case, that's absolutely a fact. And I hope this isn't the last we see from the Upgrade universe, but let's get to my favorite part about Upgrade, which is the action scenes. So, the story revolves around a man who gets paralyzed in a seemingly random act of violence, and his wife also gets killed. He's then paid a visit by an incredibly powerful man who has a piece of technology that can give him the use of his arms and legs back called STEM. So he goes through with it, gets implanted with STEM, and it turns out it has a mind of its own as well. But they work together to try and catch and kill the guys that killed his wife. And the dynamic between Stim and Gray is just so good, and it's really entertaining. There's some good jokes in here and some real stinky shit jokes, but for the most part, the humor between them lands, and it's very enjoyable, even when it's not being a comedic exchange like a buddy cop movie, except where one of the buddies is perpetually inside the other buddy. It's good. Every exchange between them is enjoyable and fun, but the action, when it happens, is so fucking amazing. The first fight scene is perhaps some of the most entertaining and creative combat I've ever seen in a movie. He gives full control of his body to Stim. Stim, being a super advanced robot, knows all the kung fu and shit in the world, so he just starts brutalizing one of the men that led to Greg's life being destroyed. And it's just so fun because it really feels like there's two actors playing the scene, with the way Logan Marshall Green, who plays the main character Gray, reacts to Stim just destroying this fucking man, just spanking his bottom. He's breaking plates on his head, and you can see in Gray's face he's disgusted, he's surprised, and it's really, really enjoyable. He's like, just please stay down. I don't want to have to keep urethral swabbing you here. And that's pretty much how all the fights go, and it's really enjoyable. It never gets old. The first fight being the best, but it's always Gray gives control of Stim. Stim just fucking annihilates whoever he's attacking, and it leads to a very brutal and gory death. Now, the story it's simple enough with a few twists towards the end, but I don't have any complaints about it. There's some shitty dialogue, though. I will 100% say a lot of the dialogue is kind of yikes, but the story that holds it all together and gives us this really creative world is sound, it makes sense, and it's a very fun revenge movie with some twists. Another thing I was extremely impressed with is the world they were able to build here. It wasn't just, we're sticking with this one character and we're just going to have really generic scenes and settings and all that shit. They created an entire interesting world off of a small budget, a world that I think is more interesting than most of the huge budget sci-fi movies we see these days. It's a world where people are getting bio-augmentations, bioengineered to be more than human, and it leads to some really cool shit. And the whole world is just kind of this hybrid of modern day with some conveniences of new technology. It's not just like this whole out of the realm of reality type world where it's just complete fantasy, like the aliens fucking invaded and made a whole world for us. This is something that really seems like it could happen within the next 20 or so years. And it's just so fucking cool what they were able to do with this world building. I loved it. I absolutely loved it, and I really hope we do see more from it. Let's go ahead and pop this bitch into the Moist Meter. I'm giving this the highest score I've ever given. I'm giving this a 95%. This movie is absolutely spectacular, and it really deserves to do well in the box office because we don't see movies like this anymore. This feels like an old Grindhouse movie, and it's really well made, and it's a really good Grindhouse movie. I have almost nothing but compliments for this movie. I went in not knowing too much about it because I'd only heard one thing about it, and it was a good review. That was all I was exposed to for Upgrade, and it blew me away. I saw it with Andrew, and during the first fight scene, we both said to each other, "Holy shit," because it was so surprising and so refreshing, creative, and fun. Whole movie is just an enjoyable experience and definitely 100% worth seeing. That's it. See ya.